Hello, a big welcome back to the channel and a review of the 10-inch multimedia in-vehicle system from Carpuride. We're always been offered products to review and we usually decline. It's not really our thing, but when Carpuride asked us to review this 10-inch multimedia system, we thought, actually yes, this is something that we're interested in, because if, like us, you drive an older truck or an older car, then this could be the answer to upgrading that media or infotainment system. Now, Carpuride have very kindly given us this to review, but all thoughts are our own. Now, one of the beauties of this system is that Carpuride actually state, in fact they put it on the box, that it should take no more than 5 minutes with no skills to actually install this system. It really is plug and play. So without further ado, let's get in and get a first impression. Okay, really simple unboxing. You've got 6 component parts. I've taken everything out of the plastic. I have left the little film on the screen, and of course the instruction manual. Now, there's something I want to point out at this early stage, and that this really needs to run off either an iPhone or an Android phone. And that's pretty much how it works. You'll see whenever I switch it on that it looks like a series of apps. And if you want to use your navigation, for example, then it's going to run off your phone. So a couple of things to note from the very off is that you need connectivity. So particularly if you're like us, you're abroad and you're looking to navigate in a different country, then you've got to make sure that you've got data. And that's really, really key. The screen looks and feels of a high quality with a number of features. You've got the power button on the top, a 3.5mm mic, an SD card slot, reverse camera in, reverse camera can be purchased separately, the audio out, a USB slot, and the 12 or 24 volt power slot. It's got its own speaker and slots for the mount. Well, it pretty much says everything on the box. I mean, you can see here that apart from the 10-inch display, there's lots and lots of key features. I mentioned the phone already, but so you can make and receive calls, you can use Siri, you can actually watch YouTube on here. Now, we run Apple and I think it's maybe a little bit easier with Apple than Android, but I don't use Android, so I can't say. And for us, one of the key things that could be really interesting is the reversing camera. I'm keen to explore that, but that might be in a different video. Okay, it's a really simple thing, but something like this attachment, as you can probably just tell from a bit of video, it should be really simple, but it's not. Now, this one's actually okay. So the dash mount kind of goes on. If you hit a bump, I'm not convinced it wouldn't come off, but it goes on, and yeah, I can see that it would sit there. This one, however, the windscreen mount, yeah, it kind of goes on, but it doesn't lock in place. You see that it should lock in place, but and there's 2 different settings. Just doesn't really stay on, so that is a little bit disappointing. Okay, I think it's time to jump in the cab, get it plugged in, and see how it looks. Well guys, welcome to the cab of our truck. It's over 20 years old, so as you can imagine, it's pretty basic. And I've just mounted the screen mount onto the windscreen, and I'm just about to plug the unit in and see what happens. Well, I'm actually really pleased how it looks. I think it looks really clean and fresh and modern. It's really responsive in terms of the touchscreen. Lots of features on there, and of course just touch the home button or the back button, and yeah, first impressions are good. What I am going to do though is spend the next couple of weeks using it in a couple of different vehicles and understanding the functionality of it, obviously link it to my phone before I do any of that, and come back to you with my thoughts. So I've been using the Carpuride for the last 10 days whilst out and about seeing family in a number of different vehicles. Now, it's pretty intuitive and it was pretty easy to set up with my phone. But I would say, don't do what I did and spend 20 minutes getting frustrated with some of the features and trying to understand how it all works without reading the instruction manual. Spend that time. It's a really great little menu. It's very well illustrated, lots of colourful, detailed photographs, step-by-step process, and that was time well spent. Now, like most infotainment systems, you're probably going to use it for one of 3 reasons. Firstly, navigation. Secondly, making and receiving calls, and then thereafter music or even watching YouTube whilst you're stationary. And I have to say, it's been excellent. I've really enjoyed using it, and it did take me a couple of days, probably about 2 or 3 days, to really get into it, understand the functionality, and then once you sort of get it, you think, actually, yeah, this is really easy, like most infotainment systems. And one of the things I want to point out again at this sort of early stage, having used it in a number of different cars specifically, is the mount has been excellent. I was not very impressed with the sort of quality of it, but actually it sticks to the windscreen extremely well. It's never come off once, and actually, you know, here we are bouncing about some country roads, and it's been pretty solid, and the screen itself has never come off. So I suppose I've got to go back one and say I did doubt it, but it's been really good. So first thing I'm going to talk about is navigation. If, like us, this device really is going to be used primarily for navigation, then obviously there's a number of apps that you can use through the screen. So we generally use Apple Maps whilst we're navigating. So if you have a look on the screen, you can see once I click Apple Maps, it just comes up straight away. And one of the other features you can use is Siri. So for example, if I was to use Siri to navigate, it's pretty straightforward. Hey Siri, navigate to the nearest post office.
One possibility is post office on Tamnaharin Road in Londonderry, a little over a mile to your west. Want to try that one?
Yes. So a really nice little feature to have, particularly if you don't want to touch the screen whilst driving. The actual functionality in terms of sort of navigating back to the home screen is really straightforward. So we can press this button, okay, and then you can see we've got a number of apps on here. So if we want the actual device home screen, we just press this button here, and this is what you get. And you can see here we've got CarPlay, we've got Android Auto, okay, and a number of other, you know, mirror linking, for example, the settings. So it's a pretty straightforward system. I've generally been using CarPlay, and that's obviously very familiar for me. Okay, moving on from navigation, I just want to talk about making and receiving calls, a key feature of any infotainment system, and I want to talk specifically about the quality of the speaker.
Sorry, just had something in my hand. Are you okay?
I'm very well. I'm just doing a video for YouTube.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not going to stop.
Okay, alright, enjoy.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye bye.
It's okay. It's not brilliant and it's not terrible. But it is something to bear in mind, particularly if you're on a really busy road, or indeed, you know, you're sort of struggling with hearing. Then the device itself is fine, the functionality is fine, it just kicks straight in, there's no delay, and it has been really good. And if you're in a quiet car in country roads, there's not a problem. You can actually hear it and communicate, and the person on the other end can hear extremely well. And some of the feedback I've had from my wife when I've called her is that there's no background noise. So you're getting the speech from the individual, but you're not getting the road noise. So that can only be a good thing. So another good feature, again, through using Siri, is that you can send a message. So if you don't want to touch the screen or make a telephone call while you're driving, then it's pretty simple to do. Hey Siri, message Izzy, I'm running 20 minutes late.
Seems like you usually message Izzy Nichols with WhatsApp, so I'll use that one. What do you want to say?
I'm running 20 minutes late.
Your WhatsApp message says, I'm running 20 minutes late. Do you want to send it or change it?
Send it.
Done.
So the functionality on the communication side has been excellent. I've been really impressed by that, particularly as I'm out about traveling. Next up, let's talk about music and entertainment. So just like the navigation, there's a number of apps on your phone that you've got the option to use. So we've got music. Okay, we've got another music option. Well, we generally use Spotify. So if I click Spotify, you can see, well, that's a terrible choice in music. Okay, but you can see, I'm not going to play them because I'm going to have copyright issues. But you can see then that I can go back through my Spotify, recently, library, and it's really simple to use. Okay, and one of the things that I just want to point out, that if we go into playlist and I select a song, let's go into the daily mix, let's just pick, I don't know, one of these. Okay, the power button is on the top, and if I press that, that will give me the volume. I just press it once, okay, and you can just, so it's pretty good, okay, and I can mute it on the left hand side. So that's really simple. So you'll see here on the screen, you've also got Skype and Zoom. Now, whether that's entertainment or communication, that's up to you, but you've got the option to use those as well. So it's a pretty big screen, and you can have the navigation side of it on the whole screen if that's what you want, or you can split the screen and have this view. So I mentioned the ability to watch YouTube whilst you're stationary. Now, something to note is if you're an Android user, then you've got to use a cable. It's got to be hardwired. Whereas if you're an Apple user, then it can either be hardwired or you can do it wirelessly. So for the purpose of exercise, I'm actually going to plug in the USB into my phone, which is an iPhone, and I'm going to show you how that looks. But something that you must bear in mind is that you must turn off the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth for that to work. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm just going to turn on the Carpuride. So before I connect, what I'm going to do is disable my Wi-Fi and disable my Bluetooth. So they're both turned off. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on, sorry, I'm not going to turn on anything. I'm going to plug in the cable. And there we have it straight away. So I'm going to go into my phone, I'm going to select YouTube, and there we have it. I've already got something playing, and you can see it's actually pretty responsive. And obviously if you were sat somewhere and you needed entertained, it's pretty good. And in terms of mirroring my phone, you can see I can just flick through. It's really simple. And if I select one of my apps, you can see I've got some photographs in here, and you can have a look at those, and that's pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to summarise on the product. I've actually been really impressed over the last 10 days, and I made a list of pros and cons. It's not long, so bear with me, and I am going to put my glasses on because I'm blind otherwise. So the initial setup, actually, they stayed 5 minutes, and indeed it was about 5 minutes. I did actually read the instruction manual thereafter, and I did glean quite a lot from that. The ease and functionality and how intuitive it is was excellent. I really liked that side of the product. And although I didn't have good things to say about the car mount initially, I've actually been really impressed with it, so I take it all back. It is touch responsive. I would say it's not iPad like, or you know, if you have a sort of a modern day phone, it's good, really good, but it's not immediate. It's not really sharp, but it is very good. I like Siri. I like the fact that it's got auto dimming, so when you're driving at night, it's quite a big screen, and therefore it really has to be sort of dimmed down. So that automatic feature in the auto dimming is excellent. And the other thing really is cost. I think it's excellent value for money. Okay, some of the downsides really would be, and there isn't much in fairness, would be there's no battery. Okay, so it's got to have a continuous 12 or 24 volt power supply. Secondly, the speaker could be a little bit better. I would like to see that, and that would definitely enhance the product. And lastly really would be the fact that although it's a standalone unit, it needs that connectivity. It needs your phone, it needs data for it to work and get all that functionality. But other than that, yeah, I like it. So if you think this might be something for you, check out the Carpuride website. I'll put a link in the description. There's lots of options, various shapes and sizes. And until the next time, bye for now.